Night's Edge by Liz Kerin and the sequel called, I believe, First Light. Yeah, also by Liz Kerin. These were the first vampire books I remember reading. I read these when they first came out. I think it was about 2023 and then 2024. And I'd never read a vampire book before. And I remember always kind of seeing the analysis that the best vampire books were the best books about zombies or, Frankenstein's monster or, even sci-fi alien stuff is always about the reflection of the real world. Like, it's going to live or die based on the reflection of the real world that it's trying to make. And I never really knew what that was. And then I read this and I was like, oh, now I get it. Night's Edge is told in like a dual timeline for the first half, where it's about the main character is a young girl. So in half of the book, she's like 10. In the other half, she's like 19. And her mother makes the active choice to become a vampire. So in this world, vampire, it's really cool to me. I'm not a big vampire reader, so maybe it's very normal stuff. But in this world, vampires are very normal. But they are a danger. And the world went through a period of adjusting to the vampire threat. Vampires are very much a threat. They are a danger. Nobody wants to be near them. They are not allowed in like the public spaces. And the world has arranged all of these modern ways to cope with the vampire danger. Vampires are seen as a threat because they need to feast. They are hungry. They attack people, and they've set up these vampire houses for people to go to where they can be cared for. But the characters all know that this is a code for being trapped in a prison and being they're subjects. So the main character doesn't want that for her mom. So in the book, they treat the vampires the same way we would treat people struggling with drugs. Her mom can only go out at night. She has to lie about her jobs. They have to keep her reality as a vampire secret. And it's really cool to me. I enjoy this. I thought it was very creative seeing this like world building going on, and it's very subtle. At no point is there this giant dump of rules. It's like when they go into a building, they have to hit a little blood scanner, right? And we're just dumped into this real world and what they have to do because of the vampire threat. There's all this drama built around her mother's vampire friends who are always pulling her back into a criminal world, really, because they do need to feast. They need to eat, right? And along the way, the main character, she wants a normal life. She's always talking about how she has to feed her mom. So every day she has to sit down and pump out 4 ounces of her own blood so that her mother doesn't go out killing. Knowing that this isn't really good blood and she always wants more blood. And but I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was great. There's a lot of really good scenes of action. There's a mild love story of the girl having her first crush on another girl, and there's a very clear build to the final moment, and the action goes off the wall. And I don't read a lot of vampire novels. I don't read a lot of modern horror, and this really blew me away. I thought it was great. I would recommend it to anybody, really. I thought it was a really great book. I enjoyed reading it. I thought that the way it was written was intriguing. There was drama, there was suspense, there was action, there were a few little twists, and the ending was really shocking. I loved it. Night's Edge, I think I gave it a 5 out of 5. Honestly, I did actually. Yeah, so yeah. And then they announced the sequel, First Light, and this was not as good. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads when it came out. So the plot is about she's now going to go and start hunting the vampire that infected her mom. It's kind of built on the vendetta of her wanting to take down the guy that infected her mom. And I wanted the book to come out, and then it came out, and within 2 chapters, I was like, oh no. I don't want to say it stinks, but it's just, there's a structure of the book, and what I'm going to tell you is not a spoiler because they tell you in the first few chapters. The main character is a vampire. She got infected somewhere between the events of the 2 books. They tell you how, and it takes all of the suspense out of the book. There's a little bit more world building where there's these red markets, which are black markets for vampire needs. But in the realm of the world, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and the action gets really neutered, and they make all of the wrong twists for me. I won't say it because I don't want to spoil it, but First Light just didn't really do it for me. And, you know, the like enemies became friends and it was too fast. And at the end of the book, the author wrote her little, you know, okay, this is how I wrote the book. And she straight up said she had no intention of writing a sequel, but the first book did so well that the editor kind of begged her and she said, okay, sure. And I think it really shows that she didn't really have an idea for where she wanted to go with the book. You know, it's very clear that the story should go here, but we're going to go there. And it just really neuters the book. And they wind up like, for instance, there's a part where they reveal that the doctors have made a pill that if you take a pill, you can go out in the sunlight. And it's like, well, why have vampires? You're just turning the vampires into normal people, you know, over and over. And then they have all, you know, these fake ways to get blood. And then it's just the vendetta between the main character and this villain. But then, not to spoil it, but even that kind of gets squashed. Like, I didn't really know what the point of the book even was by like halfway through. So Night's Edge, loved it. One of my favorite modern horror novels. First Light, it's okay, but as a sequel, it's not. I don't think it even captured half of the fun of the first book. So yeah, that's my review of the books. Enjoy, have fun, bye bye.